Okay. Well, bonjour Anishinaabe. Ibn Makwa, Minegoziibe for coming out to have a conversation about housing in our community. Just a little bit of background about where we're at and where we've been for the last number of years. Housing in every First Nations community that I'm aware of has been a very difficult task because we are one of the fastest growing populations in Canada. I think we are the fastest growing people in all of Canada. Aboriginal population rates are going up all across the board, and it's impossible to keep up with the infrastructure requirements, including housing across the country. And when you tune into the news and you hear what Canada is doing, they're not investing at the rate they need to in order to keep up with our population growth. In 2020, former Chief Batson and Council had a feasibility study that was done. And at that time, our population growth rate was calculated to be about 3%, which meant that we needed to build about 13 houses per year in order to keep up with the housing demand in the community. That hasn't happened. We've done our best to keep pace in the last number of years, and as you can see, we're continuously building new houses, but our population in the last 2 years has just exploded. We went from around 4,000 members to now over 5,300 members in the last 2 years alone. So our population is growing faster than just about every community across Canada. A lot of that is because of our cows and plows, our agricultural settlement claim. A lot of people want to get their status done in time for the benefit of the per capita distribution, but also the long-term benefits of the settlement trust and the investments that we're making as a community. So what we have today is we have a very fast-growing population of community members, and we're not building enough houses to keep up with, the next generation demand on housing. We're doing our best to try to find new and creative ways of bringing new housing into the community. And for the past 40 years, we've had to rely heavily on the CMHC program. And some of you might be familiar with that program, and I thank Anita for being here because she's kind of helped over the years in the oversight of the CMHC program. CMHC housing has always been difficult here because they're so limited in terms of the number of CMHC loans they do each year. And for the longest time, as members of the West Region Tribal Council, we would only get 1 or 2 or 3 houses a year. Meanwhile, the Tribal Council was only getting 7 or 8 houses per year. So those houses had to be divided up amongst the communities that qualified for housing. And not every community every year qualifies for housing because sometimes communities fall behind on their mortgage payments. Sometimes they fall behind on other payments. Sometimes they're not funding the replacement reserve. There's a whole host of reasons why communities from one year to the next might not qualify for a CMHC project. And when they don't, we fall behind even more in housing. Okay, so we've been faced with this challenge now since the 1980s. It's called the Section 95 program, and it was one of the only options for building new houses in the community for the last, 40 years. Occasionally, Canada would set aside a little bit of extra infrastructure money, and in the last 2 years, I think we built about 15 houses with infrastructure money coming in from Canada. But they've also provided some money for renovations, upwards, I think, of close to $1 million in the last 2 years. And that's why you see, a lot of renovations happening in the community, but also some new housing starts outside of the CMHC program because we recognize they're trying to keep up. We're trying to, address some of that backlog. But that's all yesterday's program. Okay, that's yesterday's program for housing in the community. Since our settlement, we have the option now to do new housing concepts that we've never been able to do before. Okay, and that means that some of the houses that we can build going into the future, they don't have to look like these rectangles that CMHC has made us build. From these very basic building designs, they actually have a modesty criteria built right into the funding agreement saying that you can't build a nice house. You have to build a CMHC house that looks like a rectangle with 4 windows and a door. Isn't that right, Anita? Yeah. So we've never been able to build the type of houses I think that our families would like to have built here. And we've never been in a position as a community, well, I think it's been a very long time, that we've been, as a community, able to build houses that we want, designed the way we want, and built the way we want. So we're turning the page now. This year, we have the option, because of our investments and because of our settlement, we have the option to borrow new money from the bank, okay? And this is part of what we talked about when we talked about the settlement agreement and the establishment of a trust. We have the ability to borrow money against the value of the trust, okay? We can borrow up to 30% of that value. One of the first things that we talked about as a council, actually the most important investment we can make in the community is in families and family wellness. And how do you invest in family and family wellness? Well, you give people the opportunity to live comfortably in a house that they can be proud of, in a home that they're comfortable in a home that has good quality air, lots of windows for sun to come in, and something that people can be proud of from day one. That, I believe, is going to allow for a new way of looking at housing. So what we're committing to do this year, and some of you already have received some of the information, there's going to be a presentation here from a guy named Don, and he's with a company called Naughty Pine Cabins, and they're a company out of Winnipeg that builds the cabin on their lot, on their site, in Edmonton, not Winnipeg, and they pre-package it, and then they ship it on a flatbed to the community, and they've shipped packages all over North America. These packages are then built by local construction teams and contractors, if people want to use a contractor. But it's designed in such a way that with a small team, you can have your house up in a very short period of time. And that's really what I think we wanted to do, was we wanted to find high quality materials, high-end engineering, so that people can buy their own home, design it and customize it the way they want based on the layouts that have been provided here, and then put up the home on a property, on a location in the community of your choice, based on where you want to build, and of course based on the family areas, because we know people might want to build around family, and we've never really been able to do that before, but we want to be able to do that now. So that's what the presentation material is about. Rachel, did you want to?
I was gonna ask, so would this be off reserve too, if you're a band member?
Today we're only talking about on reserve building.
Oh, okay.
We will be talking about off reserve building at some point, but we don't have a program built for that yet. But this is for the first try at the on reserve rent to own concept. So what we're prepared to do is, as a council, we're prepared to go to the bank and take out a loan for approximately 2.5 million. Okay. Now, how do you pay back a loan for 2.5 million? Well, like I said, we have a trust that's now been set up from the settlement agreement, and that trust is going to pay income every year at 3.5%. Okay, so every year 3% of the income is going to be paid out of the trust. So that's how we're going to set up this repayment on this $2.5 million loan. But what we want to do with this $2.5 million loan is we want to issue individual loans to homeowners. So this would be homeowner 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so forth. Okay? So what you would be paying for as an individual homeowner is you'd be paying for your package plus your labor. Your labor will include your trades, which would be your plumbing, electrical, carpentry, etc. The band will pay for your site prep. So we're prepared to do your water to site, your septic, and your electrical, your hydro. But by hydro, we're prepared to pick up the cost of one pole from the road, right? Because one pole from the road is already $6,000. If you want to build further from the road, you're going to have to pick up that cost out of your build. Okay, so when you're done, this would be your loan here. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that you're set up with a monthly payment on your property that you can afford for this, okay? And this will probably be a 15 to 20-year loan this year, just like a mortgage payment would be, okay? Your payment, along with all of these other payments that are being made for these other houses, rolled up into a monthly payment, comes to a total. Okay, that total will be used to help offset the cost of this loan, this overall loan. So what I'm explaining here is I'm explaining a way for us as a community to become the banker, okay? We're gonna be the banker under this scenario. We tried last year, a couple of years ago, to talk about home ownership in a different context, meaning that you as an individual would go to the bank, you do your pre-approval, you do all of your verification at the bank, and then the bank would pre-approve you and decide whether you're an eligible borrower, and then we would guarantee that money. That didn't work. Nobody went that full 10 yards with that concept. So we went back to the drawing board. Benita?
I think what it was, well, one of my coworkers had gone to, it was BMO.
Yeah.
But I think they were at a standstill with BMO. It was on the bank's end, from my understanding.
Okay.
So that's why I didn't like to pursue it myself.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Okay.
Could be wrong, but
Well, either way, it didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
And it might someday, because the bank did offer us $1 million guarantee, like a $1 million loan guarantee, so that we could guarantee up to $1 million loan. But like I said, it didn't go anywhere, so we're trying this route here.
Mhm.
So the relationship with the bank will be chief and counsel, right? And we'll be responsible for that annual payment on that loan. But like I said, each month, people who are homeowners will be making a monthly payment on their property, okay? So as part of this, we want to allow and encourage people to identify where do you want your home to go, okay? So if you're applying, there's a spot on the application form for you to say, okay, I want to build here. We want, when we're encouraging people to build on access roads that are already there, because the overhead comes down quite a bit at that point. So if you have a family yard where there's room for a nice house to be built, then maybe you want to build there because you want to be close to family. If we're cutting a new road, for example, off 272 here, we have to get a permit, so that's going to slow down the process. But if there's an access road already onto the lot that you want to build, then that's even better. There's not a lot of free lots that are available out there, Anita?
No.
How many would you say there are?
Maybe 10?
Maybe 10?
Yeah.
But they're spread out all over, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've used a lot of driveways already, so.
Yeah. So that's the basic concept, and the information package there provides you with some basic designs. There is a basic design that I viewed when I went to go visit the location was the 20 by 40 with the dormer. So it's an 800 square foot main floor with 400 square foot loft space with dormers on either side to increase the actual square footage, the usable square footage. So from there, you can customize the property to make it, I guess, more of what you want. You can put a wood stove in there. You can put a bathroom upstairs to have an ensuite in your master bedroom. There's lots of different options once you actually pick the design that you want. The other basic design that they showed us was basically a bungalow without the pitched roof, so it's just like a slanted roof. And that was a design that they recommended based on some elder units that they're building for another community. That's a single floor unit built to be accessible for elders. If elders wanted to get into the program as well and have a home built, to their specifications in that design. It's all high-end material. They provide you with they provide you with all the materials right from the ground up. We would probably have to build pressure-treated wood foundations. They encourage a slab or piles, but piles don't really work well in our area because of the amount of rocks underneath the ground and frost heaving. So we would probably do foundations, and those would be pressure-treated, right?
Yeah.
It's probably the most cost-effective way to do it. Yes?
So would it be renting until the mortgage is paid off? like
Well-
for the 20 or 15 or 20 years?
What we're gonna do is in the first year, okay, we want you to prove that you can make the monthly payment. Okay, so in the first year, it's gonna be what we call a rent-to-own agreement. Okay, so we wanna see what kind of down payment can the purchaser make? What kind of monthly payment are they willing to make? And after 12 months, we'll review it. So that rent-to-own agreement is reviewable after 12 months, and it could turn into a purchase agreement from there. Okay, if everything is working out and payments are being made on time, and you want to continue and proceed into an ownership arrangement, then we're going to convert that rent-to-own rental agreement into a loan, like a long-term loan.
Will credit checks be done before the rental agreement or?
What we want to do is we don't want to, this is a community program, so we're not going to go to the bank.
Because that's what people are scared of.
Yeah.
But yet they do it for the, but they wanna, these are red flags.
Yeah. We're not asking the bank if people qualify, we're going to qualify.
Chief council will be the bank, right?
Yeah.
For this project.
Yep, we're gonna be the bank. Housing is gonna be involved because housing is gonna take all the information. Sterling Economic has agreed to be the project manager for this, so he'll work with every individual family, identifying where you wanna build. We'll do GPS, we'll do drone footage of the location. Grant's gonna help out with that. And we're gonna do it as a community project.
Can you give us a rough amount, like say if just a single unit, like you said, a bungalow? How much you think that would cost, like say if I'm interested in that kind? How much you think a monthly payment would be for that?
If it's a smaller one, I think we talked about trying to cap it around 500 a month.
So that
But you'll
would be like
still have to
a
pay, you'll still have to pay your utilities. You'll still have to pay your services that you get from the community. And there's gonna be insurance as well, but we'll cover the insurance for the first year. Because it would fall under our general liability
So
insurance.
you say it's about $500 a month. Would that insurance be included in that 500 payment?
In the first year, no, that's separate, but we'll be covering that for the first year because it's gonna be our property for
Yeah.
that first year anyway.
So after that, say within 2-3 years down the line.
Yeah.
I'd have to pay an insurance on top of 500.
Monthly or however, some people pay it annually or quarterly. Yeah, so that's how we want to do it. If you're going for a bigger place, it might be more, but we want to try and cap the monthly payment at something that people can reasonably afford. We don't want anybody to fail in this project. We want people to be comfortable. We want people to feel good about what they're paying for. And we want to do it at a price that people can reasonably afford. And we know there's people in the community that have really good high-paying jobs and they can afford to do this, but they've never been given the opportunity. So that's what this is about.
I just have a question also, is like further down the road, say I build and then I decided I needed to be somewhere like near a hospital or whatever, because I'm getting up there in age. But if I decided to sell and it was a non-band member or, how does that work? Would chief and council step in and sort of either buy our house from us so we don't bring outside, not to be disrespectful, but outsiders into our community?
If we have, like in the first year, this is going to be a rental agreement, right? And if after the first year it gets into a loan, like a purchase agreement, then we have first right. Okay, so if you build on it and then 3 years down the road you need to move, so you come to the band and we'll figure out what the value is based on your payments and your equity in the property, and we'll buy it from you. Okay? Or if you find somebody that you want to sell it to in your family, you'll have the right to sell it to a family member as well. But we will have first right of refusal except for families that qualify.
What's the minimum down payment you need?
We don't need a minimum, but we want people to put equity in up front. We want to see a down payment, okay, to show that you have the ability, one, to save a little bit of money and that you're serious about the investment you're making. So we do want to see a down payment.
You want to say down payment?
Yeah.
What do you mean, like say for that bungalow, how much would I have to put?
It's up to you to decide what you put there.
Oh, I thought you were doing it like you're gonna help us to start off people and then start paying money after that.
Yeah, we're not applying like in a regular type of borrowing scenario, you'd have to put 5% down. But we're not doing that. We're just letting people tell us what it is that you think you can afford. But there's only a limited number as well. Like, we're only gonna be able to do 8 to 10 based on this first loan. So I anticipate people that are coming in with a down payment or a bigger down payment might be the first ones to qualify.
So that
we're
first,
gonna pick whoever comes up with the money first.
That's kind of how we have to do it because it is a limited pool in this first group. And if it works, we'll do it again next year. We'll do another one.
so that first year money of rental agreements, like you mentioned, does that go towards the house or?
Yeah,
Okay.
It goes
Would
towards,
that be considered possibly as a down payment?
it will be equity.
Yeah.
It won't be down payment, but it'll be
Oh,
equity
okay.
towards the overall cost. So it will be a pay down.
Also, to me now, I'm sad, because I thought you were gonna put up like what you're saying, the package and the labor, plus it's the setup. I thought chief and council, you're the bank. I
Yeah.
want you to lend me money to start off this.
Well, we are lending the money, but we also want people to put a down payment in.
You want, but do they have to really?
They don't have to, but people that are putting a down payment in are probably gonna score higher on the application.
Roughly how much you think you're gonna allow? 10 people, 20 applicants?
It depends on the total cost of what people choose, because some people might choose a lower end
Yeah,
of the pricing that's coming in, but if we got 10 people all wanting to do the full maximum, we might use up this money very quickly, and we might only be able to do 7 or 8. So. Does anybody else have any other questions?
I want a bigger house.
But what's gonna happen as well is when people move into these homes, it's gonna free up some of our existing, housing stock in the community, which I think also improves the overall accessibility issues that we have for all the people that are on the waiting list.
So this is a 20-year mortgage, I'll say through chief and council. I have to pay chief and council every month for 20 years?
Until the mortgage is paid off.
Or
Or you decide to sell it
without a
back.
penalty,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you can pay it off sooner without penalty. So, this is
In
the,
case we come up some more money,
Yep.
compensation.
Yep. You never know, right? You never know.
Yeah.
So how does that work by where I live? Like, I live right next door to the church, the graveyard, and then my house. Does the church, like, somebody had mentioned that the church has, running water? How would we be able to sort of tap in there where we, instead of having water delivery? Like, would I be able to build in that area?
I think so, but I know that there's a property boundary there because the church does have a fee simple title to, I'm not sure the exact boundary, so it would have to be properly identified.
And our water trucks deliver water there.
Yeah. Oh, they
They
deliver to the
deliver
church?
water there, right? I mean, they do something.
Oh, okay, is that the same with the Richard ladies there?
Maureen and Val, they get water deliveries.
Okay. I always thought they had their own running water or something.
Yeah, I think the water ends right at the road, eh?
Oh, okay.
So like for a monthly payment of 500 times 12 months per year, so that brings it to 6,000 times 25 years. That's 150,000, right?
Mhm. Somewhere in that range, yeah.
Yeah,
Or the smaller one, probably.
for the smaller one, yeah.
But we're likely gonna subsidize that annual payment with the income coming in from the trust, right? To make sure that we're able to debt service the loan. Yeah. This is an investment in the community and families, so I think it's worthwhile.
What happens once you guys stop the insurance, when you got the homeowner has to cover their own insurance?
Yeah, we're gonna set you up with options because we have a couple of insurance providers we know of that can provide you with insurance.
Roughly how much would that insurance cost per month?
I'm not sure. So I didn't get any rough numbers because it's not done that often. So,
Well, we're allowed to get insurance here?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
we're actually gonna have to get insurance because if there's a loan, against a house and the house burns down, for example, there has to be a way of covering the cost of replacing the unit. So that fire loss would be payable to the band to cover the loan. And once it flips over to you as a loan, that loss would be payable to you for the loss to cover your debt on the house.
What if the house is not paid off by the time they say something like that happens?
Then
Still insured.
yeah, it's still insured.
Yeah, but
Insurance
who
would-
gets the insurance money? The band or the homeowner?
if it's already switched to you as the homeowner, then it would go to you as the homeowner.
And then you just have to cover the balance of what's
Yeah.
on.
What's the land base of your property on the land you're gonna do?
We'll have to do that on an individual basis to determine, where people want to build based on, what other people are going to allow within the area they want to build. Right? So we're kind of expecting people to build close to relatives in some cases. So as families, you can decide where the boundaries are going to be from your yard. Some people want to share a yard, I'm sure, too. So this is where we had trouble with the bank, because the bank wanted to identify exact boundaries with the lot, and we couldn't do that without bringing a federal surveyor and paying a lot of money for that. We didn't want to get into that amount of detail yet. So,
Yeah.
so there are applications that have been printed off. I think Kyle's got a pile here if anybody wants to take one for somebody or have it completed. I think we want to allow for about 2 weeks. So by middle of May, we want to be able to identify who we're going to be selecting so that we can get into, identifying the material packaging, because we want people to be able to start building by the end of summer into September. It only takes, with a crew of about 5 to 6 builders, we're told it only takes about 2 weeks to get the building up for your first trades to come in. Yes?
So do they have to identify what kind of down payment they'll have before you do the selection?
Yep. Yeah.
So basically they have to have it like ASAP.
Yeah.
What about appliances in the houses?
Pardon me?
Appliances, do we have to provide our own appliances in the home?
We haven't fully talked about appliances, but ideally people are getting their own appliances.
I guess you'll do those from the houses now.
So we're paid for the trades as well, but are we responsible for getting our own people to come in from hydro, from?
If
plumbing, electric?
we're prepared to do that for you.
Okay.
Like if you want us to do it, we can do it. And that's the reason why we're paying somebody to be a full-time project manager on this.
Okay,
And Sterling and Larry are both going to share the work because they've both done this quite a bit over the years.
What if somebody wants to build their house themselves?
That would be, well, you get a manual. There's a 75-page manual that comes with every unit. So if you choose that you want to build it yourself, then you can.
Yeah,
How
it's
does
all
that
right,
work with the labor?
That's your own sweat equity.
because it's all speed.
Right? You're not gonna pay labor if you're gonna put your own sweat equity in, right? So your labor cost would be reduced by the amount of the own work that you do. But your electrical and your plumbing and all that will still have to pass code, so you'll still have to have someone come in to sign it off. Yeah, some people can do that, and that saves you money right there.
So then say if the house was with, say 150,000, 100 went to the package, the material, right? And then another 50 went to labor. So if somebody built it themselves, then that labor is knocked off to 150?
But you'll still have to come in and get your trade signed off on the property, so you'll still have to, even if you do your own electrical, you still have to have an electrician come in and sign it off for you, which is still cheaper than having the electrician do it themselves, and the same for the plumbing. So you'll save whatever labor you can do on your own, and that's part of the reason why we chose this, is because people, according to them, all the sections come in 8-foot sections with the 9-foot ceilings. And you can have this up like in 2 weeks with your own crew.
Say if somebody wanted to make a basement, could they still take that labor money and still build a basement?
Yeah, it's gonna be expensive to put a basement in though, if you, but it's up to you if that's what you wanna do. Basements, I think, run about 60,000-70,000 for a 40-foot basement.
If you frame a basement, it won't be anywhere near that.
Yeah,
And that's meeting building code stuff today.
Rachel?
I noticed your question there at the back here, I have a question. It says applicant and co-applicant.
Yep.
Okay, I'm by myself, I'm a band member.
Yep.
Does Ken have to sign on this too, or what?
If he's coming in to live there with you, then ideally, yeah, but it doesn't matter if he's a band member or not.
Because you have a lot of scary questions, you
Yeah,
know what I mean? Am I able to, like I said, live closer, that would but a line, you know what I mean?
Yep.
It would would I have to put him on here too?
I think it would be the right thing to do. You don't have to, but I mean, I think it would be the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's up to you to fill it out. Yeah. Like, we're not the bank, like, we're not gonna be as formal and tough as the bank is gonna be. Like, we want this to work, eh?
Yeah.
So, yes.
So what if a registered band member from off reserve had this huge down payment and they wanted to build on reserve but not live in there full time, is that allowed?
If they can find a place to put the property and it works, then yeah, it would be allowed.
Would I get the band member from a different reserve?
No, like a registered band member but off reserve. Say someone who wanted to build here but.
And then they want to come home.
Yeah.
But not live here.
Well, that would be up to them, you know?
Just as long as they pay.
Yeah.
So if somebody puts a house beside their, like close to a family member, and then they default on their mortgage, and the new person that's going to be moving in there doesn't want to live there,
Then we're gonna have to figure out a solution, right?
have to move the house.
We could potentially move the house if it's on like pressure treated foundation, it's possible that it could be moved.
And what happens if they're a social client? And they want to be a homeowner, is the social gonna assume, like, you know, when you're off the reserve and you're on assistance, the government automatically assumes you sell your house first before we give you assistance? Like, is that gonna be the case for unreserved members?
We'll have to deal with that on a case by case basis, because truth be told, it's been our social clients that have paid for most of the housing in the community for the last
So
40
we should
years.
be given that, I'll be a social client, we should be given that recognition.
I think we do want to do that, because some of our houses have been paid for, you know, $200,000 for a family for 30 years, you know. There's a few families like that in the community.
I don't know.
So,
I didn't get that, I put in here, so are you saying social clients could apply for this?
I think they can, but there has to be a way to make payment. And I'm not sure if the social program right now allows for payment on a private residence. That's non-CMHC.
Because like for me, I applied for a house long time ago, since the whole banner with the 2-story house, whatever. And then I applied again. I never got anywhere still today. I never got anything. And then how could I get out to, do I have to do on welfare? And like, to me, I don't find it fair, because she works and my husband works. I don't work, but that's where I live off. My husband supports me. Why would all the social clients get these houses? Because I want a house. I
That's
want a
not, that's
house
not
in
what
Duck
he's
Bay,
saying.
but I want to
What
live in
he's
the
saying
reserve.
is, what he's saying is if a social client applied, like, you know, when you live off reserve and you own your own house, the government will tell you sell your house and then you get assistance.
Yeah,
So I'm asking if that's gonna be the same situation living on the reserve. So it wasn't saying that social were gonna be getting houses. There's, I guess they have rules that they have to follow as well when they give, assistance. Oh, yeah, you were the worker, that's your secretary. I'm looking at her.
But when we do-
ISC does not provide, payment for rent or anything on subsidy band home units. The only rent they pay is on CMHC units.
So for these, this would be band owned until ownership, right? Until we get out of the rental agreement into the ownership agreement. So these are band owned units and ISC won't pay. That's why when we build CMHC houses, we're always looking for social clients to because it automatically pays the shelter allowance. That's just the way the program's been designed, and it's not a great system.
It's something like CMHC, what you're doing, but it's not.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In some agreements.
It's our own way of doing it.
Yeah,
We have that ability to.
because I know MMF has did this, and then I took Ken to Winnipeg to apply for it. He was over $5 and they wouldn't even accept his application because it was over the amount, $5. And then we still never got a chance to talk to David, who sets these rules and guidelines, where Ken fell for that, because they were paying everything for that mortgage. It fell because them being over $5.
Yeah. Is Dawn online?
Cassie was online, there's 14 people watching.
Okay. So we have Dawn from Naughty Pine Cabins.
Oh, that dog.
Not Dawn.
Not farmers.
A lot, not getting picked up.
As soon as we identify the candidates. Yeah, if you have one already identified, I think the application form asks you already have a spot identified. And I think that's ideally, people that are applying should already have something in mind.
Yeah.
Is there a set limit on the size of a lot?
I don't think so. Yes,
Roughly, what is the rough cost of the package, alone package?
I have that information coming in,
Okay.
but the package ranges, I think, from about 120 to 150,000.
And then the more bedrooms goes higher.
Yeah, the bigger the space, the more bedrooms, the more finishings.
So is chief and council prepared to do some kind of, rules for, social clients?
Yeah, we are with the housing authority. Once we have a functional housing authority, we're going to be able to allow for a social program to cover the cost of a program like this. But we have to have a functional housing authority, and we don't yet. And we've been trying for years, right?
There, if we put like, anywhere about 20 points in the, say, like the 4 corners of the lot, with the feed number on it, is that
I think what we would do is we would have Grant go out and take an overhead, and then we would shoot what the GPS coordinates are of that lot. And if it's reasonable, I don't think that there's any issue.
another question I was gonna ask you was that 3.5%, that's what you guys are paying, is that what we're paying once we take ownership?
This 3.5% is the annual income that's gonna come out of the trust. Right, so if we have 25 million
Oh, okay.
in there.
Yeah.
Right, 3.5% will come out annually as income, and whatever we need to put towards this, we will.
And then, what's gonna be the interest rate for a small?
We're gonna make it the same as what we're gonna be borrowing from. So if this 2.5 million, and we get the best rates because we're high-end clients of the bank, we'll just match it. I don't wanna mark it up, on anybody.
Will that be like for the duration of the whole term of the mortgage?
Well, it'll be for the duration as long as we have this amount outstanding, right? So If it takes 20 years to pay that off, then, you know, then we'll have that interest rate in there for that time. But I think we need to keep, you know, the options open to have the terms adjusted, because, you know, if you come in at 5% and all of a sudden interest rates are 1% again, then,
Yeah,
you know, we got to keep some variability in there.
so as regardless if it goes up or
Yeah, yeah, and right now interest rates are expected to go down over the next 2 years, so.
First page on her birthday. Never mind.
So we're waiting for Naughty Pine Cabins to come online, and the gentleman has a presentation that he'd like to make on the packages that we've looked at.
Do you have a price tag for all these houses that are in this presentation?
Those are coming in. I don't have them available just yet, but I will within the next couple of days.
I saw them online at Naughty Farms.
Yeah, they're very nice. You can go from very basic to like a mansion.
So, like if I buy a house, can I rent it out?
Yeah, just have to make sure you make it's your house. Yeah.
Yeah, but
So I think what he'll do is he'll queue you, Grant, to go from there.
Hey guys, I'm hoping you can hear me. This is kind of my first time using Teams on the live stream floor. So this is going to be a quick presentation that we put together for you guys. Kind of goes through our main company information, and then I've also included a few floor plan designs that I've come up with for you guys. All of our builds are full custom, so these are more or less starting points, kind of ideas that we can work with, and I have no problem working with each of you to design them how you like. We do every build custom, and we like to do it that way. So these are some good options that I've come up with that we can look at, and we also have other options available as well. This is just going to be a quick presentation we put together, kind of gives you guys some general information about our builds, and then I included those few floor plans in it. You guys can definitely take a digital copy of this from the team, and anything you guys have, we can definitely answer as well. I'm just going to load this up myself, and then I can start going through it with you guys here. Just give me a moment. So yeah, first page, this is actually one of our 20 wide cabins that we did some dormers in the loft of, and it does have a side shed roof extension. So this is actually one of the 3-bedroom floor plans, a real visual of it, which is going to be the 20 by 40 that I have in this presentation. And I find that's a really good cost per square foot price that allows you to still fit 3 bedrooms in it. Going into this first page, we're kind of going through our main company detail. I'll kind of run through that with you guys. So at Naughty Pines, we're focused on designing the highest quality prefabricated cabin custom homes throughout Canada and the US. We've been in business since about 2007 and definitely built quite a few full-time home builds for everyone. We're family-run business, a smaller team, but we do quite a bit of homes throughout Canada and definitely pride ourselves on our quality. Our team designs anything from small couple 100 square foot cabins up to about 3,000 square foot homes. So there aren't really any limitations with us, just depending on how you guys want to work for. And we've worked on multiple projects like this quite often and have had everything run smoothly as well. Going on to the second page here, this kind of just breaks down more information as far as our main packages go, and I'll just wait till that switches over to run through that with you guys. So yeah, this one's basically saying with our innovative prefabrication process, building it's very affordable and it's also very quick as well. I'll just kind of summarize a lot of this for you guys and make it a little simpler so you're not having to stay here for too long. With us building your new home, we're going to design it according to what you guys want. So all of my sample floor plans are starting points that you guys can take, customize to suit what you and your family need. We pride ourselves on handcrafted home and cabins, the quick turnaround. Once they get delivered, they go up nice and quick. And we do have a team on staff 24 hours for kind of any questions to do with the build or constructions or maintenance or anything like that that you guys might have questions on. I'll switch over to that next slide now. So this next slide, I'm talking about kind of how it works. So with our packages, I've got a bunch of sample floor plans that I've given Derek as well that we can use as starting points. And I like to kind of have customers mark those up, make some sketches, some changes, and that gives me a really good idea that you're going to be getting what you guys are looking for. Once we confirm your home or cabin size, we'll quickly process your order to the custom design stage. I typically work with each client firsthand with my in-house drafter, and all three of us will work together, come up with that exact design that you're looking for. Once it's been designed, we'll begin manufacturing the package, start pre-building your walls. We'll generally frame all the walls in 8-foot sections, 9-foot standard wall height, so they always have lots of nice height to them. And then with our steep roof lines, you end up with really high ceilings in those front areas, lots of natural light that comes in. Once it does get delivered, the building manual is nice and quick to go through. We do that for each size, and we've got about 30 diagrams in the manual, and we definitely pride ourselves on making it a very quick, efficient package to put together. I'll switch over to that next page now. So this is kind of a general information about our base shell package. For you guys, I am doing full packages. So this is kind of how our packages start. The exterior dimensions for say a 20 by 40, so 20 foot by 40 foot, that would be the shell. We typically will include all the pre-built walls, pre-built trusses. We'll do a 2-inch thick solid wood siding, metal roofing standard. So we're usually about double the efficiency of most city home builds. And definitely pride ourselves on being a very efficient build. We'll have all your window door rough openings pre-framed. You guys won't just have this one solid door, 2 windows. We'll have a whole amount of windows and doors on the packages. And I'll also have the interior doors included as well. We have different colors of metal roofing that you guys are able to pick through and definitely customize it as far as that goes as well. And all the hardware, the building manual, everything's going to be included to put the full package together. Trades that you guys are going to be locally doing will be the foundation, the finishing flooring, the plumbing, and the interior finishes as far as like your lights, your fixtures. So you guys can really get those custom touches, design it how you want, and you're not stuck taking these kind of certain light fixtures, certain type of flooring. You can really custom design that. I'll move on to that next page now, and that's where I'm going to go through a lot of the different cabin options, and that's basically how I'm doing these samples for you guys. I'm adding everything just so that there's no surprise cost. You know exactly what you're getting and what that full package will cost. So typically in our standard packages, you kind of go and pick and choose between the options, so you guys can do that as well. I know I did hear a question about maybe building on a basement earlier, and that's typically where that floor kit comes in handy, because we'll supply the engineered floor to go on a basement. I know Derek did mention that those are usually a little bit more costly, so we do find clients going on crawl spaces, piles, other types of foundations more, but we can definitely design it for a basement or walkout if you guys want, and we'll tailor that to really what type of foundation you want to build on. The floor and roof insulation, typically I do R40 for both of those, which is what I spec for my White Horse and Yellowknife builds. So we're overbuilt for all the provinces. And then as far as wall insulation, we'll actually do R24 now in all the walls. So overbuilt for pine, no problem. Windows are going to be all triple pane windows. So triple pane low E argon, where they'll hold the heat in the winter, let it out in the summertime, helps keep them nice and efficient. My show home outside, I generally only heat at about 12 to 15 degrees throughout the winter time, and that's when it's a good -20, -30 outside. And generally our homes are cool without air conditioning to about +35. With a lot of the packages, I will have the loft kit on there, so giving you guys that second story. That'll come with also the stair and railing package, and then we'll generally pre-frame all your interior walls and include all those triple pane windows and doors. And then, yeah, same thing at the bottom. It's kind of breaking down those trades that we don't do as well. And yeah, I think I'm good on moving on to the next page. So this one, it seems like I did get my office manager to put this together. So this one's a lot. She kind of referenced this a couple pages away, but just kind of goes through the main building process. So we order the cabin package. I custom design it with you guys. And then we're going to get that into that prefabrication process, pre-build all your components. We're going to get that delivered to your guys' lot, and then you will get that assembled on site to lock up. At that point, you're going to get your electrician plumber in, and then I've got all the insulation, the interior pine, the trim, the interior doors. We pre-build your staircase stringers, try and make the build as quick as possible. A lot of times I see turnkey builds go up in 2 months turnkey from the day the package gets delivered. So we're not these 6-month, year-long build processes. We like to get them up efficiently. I think that kind of sums up that first page, and now we're going to actually get into the sample floor plans that have come up with a few starting points as well, and that'll start with my 3-bedroom 20 by 40. So this is a new floor plan I designed. It's kind of a bigger version of a sample I've got on the website. I just wanted to give a bit more living space than my 20 by 36 has. This one's about 1,200 square feet. I can do 2 bedrooms downstairs. And then you could have a master bedroom, a second bathroom, put 2 beds up in the loft. You could frame it off if you wanted it closed off as well. But this is a really well-priced 3-bedroom option that we offer. Going into the next one, that one's actually a new one that I'm working on. And that's going to be a bungalow package. So anyone that's going to be in wheelchair or just has any kind of joint issues, knees issues, don't want to go in a second level, this is kind of a good 3-bedroom that I've come up with for that. Really traditional style. I did a covered deck along the whole side. And this one's actually the same footprint as the previous one, but flipped. So it's a little bit wider. So this one's a 40-foot wide, 20-foot deep. It's a brand new plan I've been working on. And again, I was able to fit 3 bedrooms in here. And it's kind of something newer that I've come up with. Going into the next one here, the next one's going to be a little bit of a bigger option, and this is a 4-bedroom package, getting closer to about 1,500 square feet, and it's about 1,000 square foot footprint. So this one is a big, spacious 4-bedroom, does have 2 bathrooms on the main floor, kind of more of a master bedroom setup. And then up in the loft, you can put 2 more full-size bedrooms, and you can make those bigger if you want to move the dormers towards the front of the loft and have something else in front of them. Then you just leave them where they're at now and kind of keep them pushed to the back, and you could have a bit of a flex space in front of those bedrooms as well. The next one here I've done is going to be just a really simple, super simple 1-level flat roof. It's going to be about a 2-bedroom package, and I'll just wait till that loads up so I can run through it with you guys. So this is a common one I've actually been working on with another local Alberta First Nations. We're just finishing up 10 homes for them, and I'd actually modified this one a little bit to make it all wheelchair accessible. So I did do 3-foot openings. I modified the bathroom, the utility room to make it more wheelchair accessible as well. And this one's a great starting point if you want something compact but still quite functional. Everything's nice and open concept, and if anyone is in a wheelchair, then I can definitely modify it to fit those more accessible options into it. This is one, like I said, that I'm finishing up. I know it's a good price per square foot and a good simple 2-bedroom option. We could also do that same roof type on that 3-bedroom flat roof gabled plan that I gave you guys that has the covered deck on the front. You could utilize that same roof type on this one if you didn't want the more modern style truss that this specific package has. And that'll kind of go through all my main floor plans. Again, like I said, these are just a few that I've kind of come up with. The remainder of this presentation, we just included some real photos of some of these different packages. Both the ones on the left and the right are basically a little bit smaller than that 20 by 40 package that I have here. So you guys are actually quite a bit bigger than those. That flat roof package would look very similar to the one in the middle here. That one is a little bit bigger. Would be closer to the dimensions of that 40 by 20. That one's actually a 40 by 24 that's shown in the middle there. The next page here, these are just a couple other ones we've done. This is just a standard 24 wide with no overhangs on the left, and then a bigger 3,000 square foot flat roof that we do. With our builds being all custom, I've come up with all sorts of ideas, and if you guys want to do bigger, we've obviously got options as well. Going into the next page, we're going to show some interior shots, and I can kind of show you guys what those are. So with our interior, we do all 1x6 pine. So your walls are almost 9 inches thick, including that 2-inch thick siding. We only do plywood sheeting. We don't do any OSB. And then we do all wood trim on the inside. So you get 1x4 baseboards, 1x6 pine, solid wood doors. We don't like to do anything synthetic, no OSB, no drywall, no vinyl siding. We prefer to go back to the basics and build everything with solid wood, and the efficiency comes with that. Middle section there, that's just a custom soaker bathroom that someone put in an ensuite that we did. And if you guys want 4-piece bathrooms, that's all stuff that we can work on through that custom design stage. The photo on the right there, that's one where I did a couple custom roof extensions, and you guys can add those to any of the samples that I've provided as well. Anything you see on our website, we can implement into any of our sizes. The next page here, so these are a couple different options. The one on the left has a covered shed roof deck, so you could add that on the 20 by 40 package. And this one's just where they stained it a gray color. You guys can pick whatever color stain you'd like, and they're quite customizable for different options. The middle one has a different extension where I run more scissor trusses, which is how we make our roof system. And then the far right one, we actually have a bit of metal in the upper gable. And if you do wish to add any metal in just to break up some of the wood, maybe if you didn't want to stain it or just didn't want to have all wood, we can swap in for metal siding as well, since we do the metal roof standard. Going into this last page here, just some more finished kind of photos of ours. The far left package is actually a 24 wide loft with no dormers. So you can kind of see what the height is. Once I start putting master bedrooms or double bedrooms up there, I do prefer to do the dormers. But if you want just a really simple upper level, you can always remove those dormers, and that would lower a little bit of cost. That would look very similar to the photo on the left. The middle photo there is that same 20 by 32, just a kind of zoomed out photo. And then the far right one kind of shows the interior of a 24 wide. This specific client did do drywall, which they just did separately. And if you don't want to do all the pine on the inside, we are fairly flexible within the options you choose. This is kind of just running through our last couple photos, does link to our website and our Instagram. So if you guys want to see some more finished photos, feel free to check those out. And we have got all sorts of different custom designs that you can kind of look over. And I think that wraps up my presentation, Derek. If you guys want me to stick around and answer any questions, I haven't been able to hear anything yet, but I was on the YouTube presentation earlier. So if you'd like me to answer any questions, I don't have a problem sticking around.
All over.
Okay, you can.
I have a question.
Can you hear us yet?
Huh?
Don, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys now. I'm just going to mute my mic when I'm listening to the questions.
I have a question.
Can you hear us yet?
Oh, why did you record me?
Don, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys now. I'm just going to mute my mic when I'm listening to the questions.
Oh, why did you record me?
Don, can you hear us?
Hey, Derek, I'm having a little bit of issues hearing the questions here. I don't know what happened with here. Do you want me to just give you a quick phone call and I can go through those with you guys?
Let's maybe just do it this way, because I think there's just a couple of questions. If I- Let's maybe just do it this way, because I think there's just a couple of questions. that's a separate cost to get the trades.
Because you said you were include all that, is that in the rent, the package and the labor?
Yeah.
So that's part of the foundation, everything, right?
Well,
What is,
no,
but
the
this
foundation,
company's
that's a
not
separate cost.
including.
That's right.
But you said you were include all that, is that in the rent, the package and the labor?
Yeah.
Like, that's why I'm asking these questions.
Right, we'll get your site ready for you. Your site includes your,
You're not clear up the bush and everything for me?
yes. Yeah, like it has to be reasonably.
Like say I got approved,
Mhm.
but you guys are not gonna clear the bush for me.
Well,
What I did-
we're gonna get your site developed for you, and we're gonna get your site ready to the length of one hydro pole,
Yeah,
right? So if you pick a spot, half a mile off the road in the trees, we're not gonna do that.
yeah, I
But
understand
if you
that.
pick a spot like off the road to one hydro pole, and you say this area needs to be brushed out, we'll do that.
So you're gonna set up for me to get hooked up to the, like, for plumbing, all that electrical, that's gonna be this in package?
But no.
But not by a company, I'm talking about chief and council.
Right, we're gonna get your water tank and your septic and your power and your site landscape for you. Okay, and we'll put in your footing and your foundation.
Yeah, and
And
I
from
want a
there-
good landscaping too, cause other places I look are lousy.
Yeah,
Because I'm gonna pay for this mortgage,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, some people do their own landscaping too after the basics are done.
I know I want you guys to do everything, because it says move in ready. Let's do some homework already.
Okay, thanks. I don't think there was a question for you, Don, that was for us. Okay,
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Is there anything for us at all?
yeah, there's
A wooden structured basement, would that work in that, cabin?
a wood structured basement, would that work?
Oh, yeah, I know when you were talking there, and you said you guys utilize those foundations quite a bit, so as long as you guys are comfortable doing that, like in Alberta, we mostly do concrete for basements, but I suspect for a wood frame basement, it's something we work for. But you guys have the local trades that are familiar with that, so I would give you guys a diagram on your custom set of plans, and then they'd be able to take it and build it to your guys' standard spec.
Okay. I don't think, we've done a lot of concrete foundations and concrete basements, but I'm not familiar if we've done any wood basements.
Yeah, not as common at my end, it's usually mostly concrete, sometimes like if they're a walkout, you might have like half of it being wood frame, but, that's usually above grade if it is the case.
Yeah,
So my stuff does end up being either regular concrete or IES.
okay, it can be done. Yeah. One more question, Don?
We're just wondering if the structures would be able to allow us to have wood stoves as well with hydro or electricity.
Wood stoves, okay, Don?
Yeah, I recommend that, so they keep our built super efficient, and they don't, with any other sources using that, so a lot of our clients will put wood stoves in.
And you wouldn't need backup, like baseboard or forced air furnace?
Like, yeah, like most times we'll do the electric baseboards and then use the wood stove on top of that. So we have clients that live in our home year round off the grid and only would heat. If they're on the grid, a lot of times we'll do the electric baseboards and just have them set at about 12, 15 degrees. And then utilize that wood stove quite often once it starts getting a bit colder.
Okay.
I get it, if you're not lazy, you can have what's.
It's just because of the winter, it shuts off the electricity. It's like,
How much time do we have, let's say, but if we get a here right now, like to, make our decisions on, say, we want drywall or whatnot?
I think once we get to the stage where we're identifying candidates, then we'll sit down one-on-one and we'll start talking about, and we'll get Dawn on the phone with Sterling, so it'll be Sterling, Dawn, and the homeowner, and we'll start looking at different options for your your design, what you want for your finishings. That's right, eh, Dawn, you'll be able to move fairly quickly with us? Yep.
Yeah, 100%. Like I'm able to do 2 to 3 months turnaround on a regular project when we launch it, and that's custom designing it as well. So as long as you guys have a good idea of kind of your want, you can take the list, and then we can set up that call with Sterling, myself, you, and essentially Derek. I can go through kind of different options from us and kind of realize what you guys may want, stuff you might want to tweak, and yeah, I would just start making lists as soon as you guys can, look through all our photo galleries, then I would take that list and kind of come up with a custom package for you.
Okay,
What's the cost of these, the cost for, let's say, this first one,
I'll be able to get the pricing to you. I haven't seen it yet, so I'll have to look at it, but I'll be able to get it to you.
Yeah, I'll be able to get you guys all that this week, so for that you'll have everything line by line breakdown and it's super straightforward.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good. I think that's it for questions.
Okay, well, no, thanks for having me, and I'm hoping to give you guys a little bit of information, kind of start stuff. Like I said, look through the website and look forward to working with you guys.
Thank you very much, Don. Have a good night.
You as well.
Thank you.
So all these houses here, washrooms, like toilets, showers, hot water tank, all that stuff is included, or is that extra?
That's what I was asking.
Yeah, your basic package is identified, like in the, I think it's in one of those slides, what's included in the basic package. Any type of customization work that you're gonna do is gonna be cost over and above.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
so,
saying like the basics, like the washroom,
yeah, the basics, the windows,
the hot
doors.
water tank.
No, I don't think so.
The pumps and all that.
I thought you just said that the whole package, you're ready to move in.
They need to have a hot water tank, I mean, that's kind of mandatory.
Yeah,
And it's very expensive.
but that'll be your
Water
trade,
tanks
right? That'll be your plumbing, your electrical trades. Cost.
You know, water tank for less than 500.
So more than.
Just installing it is actually not only as well. So at this point, then, we just fill out the application, and
Mhm.
when do you need it in by?
As soon as it's done, we wanna be able to sit down fairly soon and take a look at them, and I think we said within 2 weeks.
So if we get approved for the application, do we have to get it built right away, or can we wait for a while?
Well, we wanna do this year, so we wanna try and get everybody kind of up and running kind of at the same time, because we'll be able to create transportation efficiencies for the packages to get here together. So I think ideally we want people all moving kind of at the same timeframe.
So if you, like, when you fill up all these positions for this time around, how long will it be for are you guys planning another set or?
I think we can, and then maybe even expand it even more, because we even had a couple of questions whether, can you use other builders? And I think in the future we could, but this was the most efficient way to do it this time, because these guys are giving us a price discount because we're buying a volume of it. And we'll be able to deal with the logistics and timing of it as one package instead of, waiting for this company over here, that company over there, you know what I mean?
So it almost sounds like you gotta have these guys to assemble the building.
They're willing to send somebody out to show if we need to, but they said you can do it on your own.
Okay.
Yep.
I think that'd probably be the best to get local guys to assemble and one of their guys for
Yep.
the four-week position.
They said they could send one person out to show us the first one if we wanted to. But he said, you'll have a 75-page manual which will show step by step right from A to Z on how to put this together. We might not even need them. And each part of the package will be marked to show where it is in the structure. So that's that.
So who will be taking the applications, Anita?
Yep.
And when will the down payment be needed, like after the application or after you're accepted?
I think after the application and the acceptance.
But chief and council got the final say?
We're gonna be involved,
Application?
we're gonna be working directly with the project management and the housing.
Well, you have to, because you say you're the bank for us. Well, Captain, I'm not, it's not housing, it's chief and council, you're the chief.
Yeah, but they know how to do housing projects
Yeah.
better, and they're, they're on the
Yeah.
ground every day, they know who to call, how to get permits and hydro hooked up and all that. So. We're good?
Really good.
Have some snacks, and there's still some pizza left, and some water, juice.
Well, Cookie, are these applications all Cookie, do you have to bring them in?
As soon as they're done,
And I have to have money.
as soon as you're ready to bring it in, bring it in.
You try to take some of my money back? Okay, that's good to know.
Did we cut off the live stream too when we went into, it kept going? Okay. We're done.
But there's no penalty to pay this off faster, right?
No penalties. Yeah, I think we're done.
Yeah, right away.
Yeah.